box represent Solomon Island people say. We people start originally from my homeland. Like my old man said, there's nothing impossible. So we have to bring this message to my brother lyrical. Straight from the crew, out to the blue. We represent the voices of my ancestors calling. And I was getting more my culture is falling. Now we have a step up for the past 20 calling.
Now when this stuff, ain't nobody gonna stop us. People, everybody, would you listen to us for a start? No point complaining unless we partaking. We're representing.
Previously on Delos. My brother Ragnar joins the crew. We explored northern Borneo and caught a dynamite reef bomber on camera.
So I just tried out my new fishing rod that we bought for the river. Heading up there today. It's gonna be awesome. Kind of pacing myself for the heat, and yeah, hopefully we'll catch some animals, orangutans, fishes, maybe a mini elephant. You never know.
So we'll probably not be hunting animals, but maybe some fish. But I like going up rivers. It's always a little bit adventurous, different, shallow water. There's a bar that we have to get across, which is pretty shallow, and I think just about every boat runs aground going across it. So
our depth meter is down to literally 0 here, and it's 0 knots of breeze. I felt more than stoked. This was something completely new. I'd never taken Delos up a river before. And the Kinabatangan is a 560 kilometer long river that winds itself right into the heart of Borneo. We made it over the sketchy sandbar without a scrape. To be honest, I was glued to the depth meter the whole time, feeling a bit nervous when we got down to 0.3 meters under the keel. But we were in. And it was way cooler than I had expected. Delos literally glided up this brown river, meters away from the dense jungle. Standing on the bow, the most impressive sense was all the jungle sounds. And the air was hot and filled with that musty smell of trees and dirt. We found a sweet spot just next to a smaller tributary river and got settled in for our first day of exploring. With absolutely no breeze, the boat got out of control hot during the days, so we geared up for our first dinghy expedition. We had one mission in mind though. Ever since meeting Brady, I noticed he makes these strange drawings on random beaches that we visit. He calls them dick nose drawings, and he's tagged beaches all over the world. It turns out these dick noses were actually Proboscis monkeys, and there were supposed to be heaps of them around here. So it was our mission to send the Braidster some footage of a real, live dick nose monkey. The further we went, the smaller the river became. We saw some movement in one of the trees, and there was our first monkey. It wasn't a dick nose though, just a group of macaques. They weren't too fond of us at all and split pretty fast. The search continued. So we're just working our way a little bit further up into the river, but it's amazing just sitting here looking at your sides and it's just jungle right off the boat, and like monkeys and eagles, and it's just too cool. How is it to drive in the river, Brian?
It's cool. There's logs everywhere though, and shallow spots to dodge. The tough thing is when the logs completely cross the river and you can't go to one side or the other because it's too shallow. So you just kind of have to slow down and push your way through them. I don't think we've heard anything though. Only one minor tap so far.
We heard rumors about a lake deep into the jungle that was supposed to be the best place for monkey business. So we set the hook next to a small promising river.
It's 6 a.m. and we've gone into this river to check out some monkeys, and I think they're just waking up, so it's really exciting.
I saw some movement in one of the trees. I looked up and there they were, staring down at us. A big family of proboscis monkeys were just waking up. This was just too awesome, and they didn't seem bothered by us at all. The dinghy is definitely the best way to explore the jungle.
We're going deeper into the jungle, hoping to see some orangutans maybe. Great.
Watch out.
Deep into the jungle.
Reaching the lake was magical. The water was flat, calm, and had that eerie feeling about it. The air still felt damp and cool from the night, and all the calls and noises from the jungle got magnified across the lake.
I think this is where the orangutan is supposed to be, up at this abandoned hut up here.
We didn't spot any orangutans, but the proboscis monkeys were having breakfast time in almost every tree. What amazed me the most was how similar they are to us. The males are big, about the same size as me, plus 10 times the muscle mass. And they have the most hilarious nose I have ever seen. In honor of Bradester and his drawings, we started calling them by their new nickname, Dick-Nose Monkeys. Eat your heart out, Brady. I grew really fond of these guys. It was amazing to see them roaming from treetop to treetop with such perfection. During the hotter parts of the day, the monkeys moved into the deeper part of the jungle for some nap time. So we decided to explore around the lake. And that's when disaster happened. Brian lost his new smartphone into the crocodile-infested lake while flying the drone. We thought about going after it, but not after seeing this guy. With 5-meter crocs lurking around, we kept out of the water, no matter what. Well, at least we got some really great shots, and Brian was still able to land the drone safely on Maggie.
Nice piece of wood.
For some reason, the logs always seem to get stuck on the chain in the most inconvenient way. For some of the bigger logs, we used Maggie to ram them out of the way, which worked surprisingly well. The park had put up wire crossings for the monkeys, so they could pass over the smaller river. We hadn't seen this anywhere else, and it was the perfect place for monkey spotting. It wasn't until this spot we realized how much the jungle around this river is actually gone. We decided to venture up a bit further, and it wasn't far until the jungle ended and the plantations began.
So this all used to be dense rainforest jungle, and now it's all been kind of logged and burned down, and there's just palm oil trees for as far as the eye can see, and it's really sad because there's like this kind of barrier on the main river that was left up, but it only goes a couple hundred meters back, and then after that it's just kilometers and kilometers of palm oil plantations. So the natural habitat for the monkeys has just been completely destroyed. So we were just cruising down the river in our boat, and we saw these guys waving. So we came over to say hello, and it turns out they're from our favorite place. They're from the Philippines, from where Zamboanga?
Zamboanga, right.
Zamboanga Peninsula. So we're just chilling out, taking some pictures with them.
These guys are Malaysia's version of migrant workers. They're super nice, but had no idea just how harmful this method of farming really was. We saw palm oil plantations like this all over the place, anytime we ventured a few hundred meters away from the main river. But in this part of the world, it's a major cash crop and a massive export.
The river's been really sweet so far. We've seen just amazing wildlife and explored some really cool kind of tributaries off the main river. And we're on our 5th day now, so we're just working our way up towards the village, which is about as far as we can go. And it's been really cool, really pleasant. It's just some logs and stuff floating down the river, and we've been fighting against the kind of river flow as we go. But it's been pretty cool cruising. I've never done anything like this before.
So we're here in Sakau town, up in the river, and they have like a monthly market, so it's really cool. There's a lot of action going on.
Welcome to Sakau! Balik kampung. Ya. Ini lagi. Hello. Welcome to Sakau.
We always kind of end up in the back alley, but we found a good place for the dinghy here, so.
And before I knew it, it was time for Ragnar to fly back home. We hadn't spent this much time together since growing up in Kiruna, and it was almost like getting to know each other all over again. But it was amazing to be able to share my cruising lifestyle with him, and for a whole month too.
So the vacation has come to an end. Time to go home. Been an awesome trip. Given me something to remember and think about during the fall at work. Be back when you guys are in Brazil, that's for sure.
Now it's just you and me. Again.
We were just on Jax's boat having a few drinks. We just came back and we just lost like 400 liters of water, and it's filling up the boat.
and the pump is not working, so we have to now, like, I don't know, manually pump this out or organize something, so it's sucks.
Okay, this is the emergency pump.
Our freshwater pump had sprung a leak, which dumped most of our precious drinking water into the bilge. And at the same time, it had shortened the wiring for the automatic bilge pump. And then our manual bilge pump failed as well. So we used our emergency pump as a last resort to empty the bilge, pumping our precious drinking water into the river.
So this is the part that broke. It's just this little plastic piece, and you can see how it's all just stripped off around here. So I'm going to try and drill a hole in this and replace this plastic piece with this brass piece and this random other fitting that I found that goes on this end. So hopefully it'll work.
The handyman Brian he fixed the pump with his random spare parts. But unfortunately we were now down to only a few liters of drinking water. The water in the river is way too dirty for the water maker, so we headed back out to sea. So Jack just spotted some elephants, and then we drove up and they're like right here. You can hear them moving in the bushes as well. Got the branches just breaking and stuff. It's really hard to spot now because the density of the jungle is crazy right here. Oh yeah, I can see the head now. Oh, it's just coming out.
Pretty sure I can see it. Sweet.
How cool is that, man? They were pygmy elephants, and sightings in the wild are pretty rare. Oh man, what a perfect ending to our jungle adventure. The river was amazing. It was a really, really cool experience. We go to a lot of cool places, but it was different for sure.
But it was freaking hot up there. There was like no breeze, and we really sweated a lot, but it's a really cool experience. We were up towards the top of the Kinabatangan, and we got a call from Karin's mom, and unfortunately her grandma passed away, and we're gonna fly back to the funeral. So we've turned the boat around and we are headed back to Kudat to put the boat in the marina. Haven't been home in a while, so I think it's gonna be cool.
After a few days of sailing, we arrived in Kudat. The marina is really full, so we had to tie up to this wall here. But we're probably moving tomorrow to a spot in the marina, but it was all full today.
Sorted. Welcome to Kudat.
The marina continued to be full, so we really had no other choice than to tie up Delos to the concrete wall. It felt a bit sketchy at first, but with one mooring and one anchor at the bow and 2 stern lines, she was well secured. We had 2 weeks before our flight out and countless projects. Brian fixed the inverter that hadn't worked for weeks, and we cleaned and cleaned. The main is on its 8th year, and it really shows. I found numerous rips all over and a big hole in the top, so we took it down for some well-needed repairs. We worked countless hours every day, and with only a few days left, we took down the jib and finished off some last projects.
So I'm wiring up a Delos burglar alarm. It's gonna leave the boat for so long. I want to put a tripwire out here so that if somebody comes on board, like a thief or something, and it sets off a siren and turns on the deck lights. It's going pretty good so far. Oh, boating. Still better than writing code though. Okay, so let's pretend that it's the middle of the night, it's dark, you're a Malaysian criminal and thief. Ah! The alarm goes off, the deck light comes on, and hopefully they go a-running. Good morning, Al.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Okay.
Feeling good?
Doing good.
Thanks for picking us up.
Yeah.
Al is awesome. He's gonna watch our boat
Yeah.
while we're gone. Okay.
Okay.
So Delos is all nice, all ready to go.
Are you gonna be okay? Are we too heavy?
Yeah. Maybe like this.
Okay.
Goodbye, Delos. We'll see you soon.
Our plan was to leave Delos for 3 months. It felt really good to go back home to spend some time with family and friends. But it's always a bit sad to leave Delos for so long. The good thing though is when I come back, I always feel more excited than ever to start cruising again. This was the beginning of a 3-day journey to Sweden. Time for civilization.
We got a carload full of chickens. Now it smells like chicken in here. Oh yeah.
Up next, Brady and Josje share their money-making adventure and show how it's like to work on a super yacht.
Getting into New Zealand.
Whoa, baby, you got something. Yeah, don't come easily. Yeah, I want a little bit of your peace and love. And if I'm gonna be, you got to go get it. You got to go and take it. You gotta go. Baby, you got something. Yeah, don't come easily. Yeah, I want a little bit of your peace and love. And if I'm gonna be, you got to go get it.
Oh, hello. Nice cock, bro.
Kind of pacing myself for the heat, and yeah, hopefully we'll catch some animals, orangutans, fishes, maybe a mini elephant. You never know.
So we'll probably not be hunting animals, but maybe some fish. But I like going up rivers. It's always a little bit adventurous, different, shallow water. There's a bar that we have to get across, which is pretty shallow, and I think just about every boat runs aground going across it. So
our depth meter is down to literally 0 here, and it's 0 knots of breeze. I felt more than stoked. This was something completely new. I'd never taken Delos up a river before, and the Kinabatangan is a 560-kilometer long river, previously on Delos. My brother Ragnar joins the crew. We explored northern Borneo, and caught a dynamite reef bomber on camera.
I just tried out my new fishing rod that we bought for the river. Heading up there today. It's gonna be awesome.
One touch represents Solomon Island people say. We people start originally from my homeland. Like my old man said, there's nothing impossible. So we have to bring this message to my brother lyrical. Straight from the crew, out to the blue. We represent the voices of my ancestors calling. And I was getting more time, my culture is falling. Now we have a step up for the past 20 calling.
Once down with this stuff, ain't nobody gonna stop us. People, everybody, would you listen to us for a start? No point complaining unless we're partaking. We're representing.
Ramo cansi, ramo leke, ramo gole, ramo soso.